I spent a great deal of time changing this crap into a castle. Let's take a look at it together. Hi everyone, Shane R. Monroe here, and I am excited to show you what I've done with this guy. So you saw sort of what it looked like, and there was a burial ground over there. And so I thought maybe I needed to sort of limit the access to my new island, my new peninsula. So I went ahead and started tearing the ground apart, and I flattened it out. And as you can see, I basically made it a single entry of access on this side with some fencing to keep out the rabble. As you can see here, I mean, it's like anybody can get here, no problem at all. So you can see there's a lot of other stuff over here. I carved a lot of this off just to make sure that it was as unapproachable as possible. So you can see here, again, single point of entry. I chopped the entire side of the island off. I still have a little bit of cleanup to do out there to make it look good, but I can still walk the perimeter, but it's pretty touch and go. Monsters can't really do it, and of course, this guy doesn't have a lot of power or stamina, so. But you can see the back, I'm starting to tidy up. Look at my kiln is sticking outside the back. It's the only way that I could get it to fit there. But I tidied everything up here, and as you can see, here was just a standard access to this big rock, and I thought, hey, you know what would be great? I could park my carve out here and make this sort of a boat launch, but I didn't want this to be a point of entry for the bad guys. So again, I chopped everything down around it, I carved it out, I put up a very small access, little thing you can only squeak through, and now we're here. So if you take a look at what it was before, there's a little gray guy, there's really nothing here. I mean, it is literally completely raw. Now we have limited the access. We've got a nice building out there. Everything's well protected and it's isolated. The tides here are really a problem. The water covers almost this entire peninsula when it storms. So I went ahead and started raising the ground around to make sure that it didn't get covered during the storm so I wouldn't get wet. Unfortunately, I haven't quite leveled all this off yet. So it's still a little bit rocky, but I'm working on it. So that gets me access to my boat launch from my home, my castle, and nobody can get me while I'm doing it. And so if we take a look from another perspective, we covered the area coming into the right, but what about coming into the left? So we really need to block off both sides of the equation. We need only as limited number of points of access as possible. So as you can see here, I did on the exact same side. I sort of narrowed it down. It's a little bit wider on this side because I sort of started differently. But you can see if we come out here, there's really one point of entry to the entrance to the castle, and they're not gonna get in here. So here's what it looked like before from this perspective. It's just a big chunk of land with nonsense, and now I've got a big house, the bonfires. The bonfires, by the way, don't really repel anything, but they do make a great beacon when you're coming in with your car from one side or the other. It's really nice. Even in a storm, you can see those big bonfires blazing out at you like that. It does cause a lot of pollution in the area, though, which can keep your entire area hazy. I just kind of wanted to give you another look from another perspective as to the entry point here. So coming around from the middle is yet another point of entry. And we solved that by putting this big old trench in the middle of it, right? So now it's sort of like a moat. So while you can get to it before, now there's this moat in here, and I can kite the bad guys around it if I happen to be on my way back. But here it's just free access through the middle, and the trench really seems to help. So you can see here I'm getting the stairs up on the right side of this building. And look at this, it's really rickety. It's very easy to fall off. If you've ever been around on these things, it's easy to fall off. And if you fall off, it takes a lot of health points from you. So in my case, the stairs are on the left. So you can tell the random seed doesn't randomize the buildings necessarily. So mine was on the left. But I'm going to go ahead and go up here and give you sort of a similar view. You'll also notice that I've tightened off these ladder accesses and the platforms. Let me get out here on the house because you can't really see because I built around. So here is before, when there's really sort of nothing going on. And then I had to jump out onto the roof so you could see. So now I've got a pretty full command of the entire area. One entrance in. That water still lets them in a little bit on the left there. I've got to do some more tooling to make that work out. But you can see it looks really good. And you can see I put all these barriers up, right? Let's look out the back. I also put little platforms to help me get around. And you can see here that I've done quite a bit. The roof up here covers the entire area underneath, and I put all of these barriers here. I put little barriers here to keep me from accidentally walking off, which I've done several times, which is a huge pain. Um, but you can see I also left a way that I could drop off without hurting myself. So I mean, I've spent a lot of time designing and trying to figure out exactly how to make this work. Let's look around the other side here. My my bellows for my poor forge sticking out the side like that. There's the front part of my kiln that we looked at earlier from behind. All in all, it's pretty good. But let's talk about it a little bit more when you can see it in better daylight. Alright, so let's take a look at my new castle from the daylight. It's a little bit easier to see outside here, even though it's early and there's still a lot of morning fog going on. But we can see a lot better now. You can see also better the pollution that's coming from those big bonfires. The whole area can get pretty nasty. As you can see, there's a lot of things I could do to refine this. Like I tilted that fencing, and you can get a lot better idea of my little man trap moat over here. But one of the things I meant to mention earlier was that I've got all of these large walls. They're pretty hard to climb up, even if you've got quite a bit of stamina. It's not impossible to get up here, but it's pretty hard for enemies too. And if you're on the run, you probably don't want to have to jump up on the wall. So I've placed a couple of strategic ladders. I've never seen an enemy use one of these, but it's enough to get me up on the edge, and I have one on the other side as well. So if we take a look at the house, I've got the fires all going, and again, you can see quite a bit of pollution going on. I tried to, it was actually filling up my house at one point, so I tried to sort of redirect the fire smoke with this contraption here. It seems to work okay. But now you can see in the daytime that I've but mostly paneled the sides of my home. So you can see still the rock formation underneath, but the wooden panels give it just a little bit more of a slightly home look. I could knock those down and panel it, but there's something kind of raw about having that there. You can see too now in the better lighting, you can also see the haphazard way that I've been slowly building up my land mass on my bridge here. See, you can see now that the water, even with just basic tides, still starts to cover stuff, and frankly I want this to be all above water. Now you can see there's some very shallow points out here, and I have seen some of the baser enemies make their way out here and actually get onto my little land bridge here, so I've got to go in and knock all the rest of that out. It still needs a little bit of refining, but it's a work in progress. You can see my poor bellows is sticking out. I thought I would show you around a little bit more during the day when you could see. One of the other interesting little things that I found was putting these sort of awnings over all of the edges, and I need to do one here as well. But I can actually move between the fire here to cook meat, and then back myself all the way to my smelter and my kiln, so that I can actually, while it's raining, while I can't sleep through the night or whatever, I can still run around my area without getting wet. So if we go in here, I have my basic bed stuff, and you can see I sort of tried to make a multi-tier second level. It's not exactly what I wanted, but it'll do. Oh, foul smell from the swamp. Perfect. I can't believe it. I actually got this on video. This is perfect. Let me go make sure my door's closed. It is. The other door closed too. So right now I'm getting attacked from the swamp. And so normally you'd be in panic mode trying to protect your stuff. This fortress is actually completely safe. Check this out. You're going to love this. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to watch, and you get to watch with me. So here we are. We're out here. Right now there should be something tearing my crap apart, as there usually is, right? Usually get this big crazy mass of enemies storming. See them out there, but they're not making it. They're not coming in. So the moat, I think, that big long moat that I have down there, I think is part of the key to this whole thing. You can see they're trying to trash on some stuff. Oh, a skeleton might be trying to get in, but he's not making it. Oh, that guy's trying to come too. I guess a couple people did make it up there. This is the first time that I've seen anybody actually make it up here. But in any case, it's highly defensible. I'm wondering what they're shooting at. Trying to see what actually is going on. I think he was fighting with a skeleton, but that doesn't make any sense. But I've survived like 2 or 3 of these without anybody making it up here. They must be getting just a tad smarter or something, or I changed the configuration, because these guys shouldn't even be making it out here. Oh, there is a skeleton out there. Kind of difficult to get to him from out here. But as you can see, they're not making it up to the house, which is the important part. And all you have to do is wait these foul smells from the swamp or the thundering of the mountain, whatever they are. He's trying to kick my crap, though. That's weird. I don't know if I've ever seen a Draugr and a skeleton fighting each other. That's interesting. Oops, let go too early. Damn it. Nope, smell's gone. So maybe not impenetrable, but pretty dang close. I'm grateful that I got that on video. That was really cool. I was just planning to show you around. I wasn't expecting to actually survive anything. So yeah, some of the other things that I built in, you can see I built in an extra platform to help me get on and off the roof. You can see my barriers a lot better now as well. There's another little helpful action to get out here. I have seen trolls wandering about out here in the water, but not very frequently. So this works very well. A few more tweaks and I'll be all right. Again, these barriers are precariously placed to make sure, or precisely placed, not precarious, precisely placed to make sure I can't accidentally walk off and fall. And even if I do, there is a way to kind of fall from here, but it's a safe fall. So I've worked really hard to sort of make this as the most efficient. And no, it's not much to look at. Listen, you can go watch 100 other videos, Valheim videos, and see amazing construction works. I'm about functionality over form. And for me, this isolated castle with a couple of points of entry really seems to do the job. Well, listen, I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, please like the video, subscribe, and check that little bell to get more videos in the future. If you liked this one, I'm Shane R. Monroe, and thank you for joining me for a few minutes at my house on Haunted Hill in the world of Valheim. Take care, everybody.